Because when we heard the news that you and the Young Lions were left out, we were like, what the hell? And then we saw the appeal went through and you were in. And then you had the 𝗎𝗔 scare. So did all that impact like the prep and all?
100%. So, I mean, if you are planning for a race, you should know sooner rather than later that you're going to do a race. Right? So I can tell you what happened. I don't think I've spoken about this before publicly, but around the time of the SEA Games is also the Singapore Marathon. So these are two really, really big and important races that are happening for a Singapore athlete in the same month, basically. I think it's like 9 days apart, whatever. They are obviously very different events. Singapore Marathon does happen every year. SEA Games once in 2 years. But SEA Games, you are representing your country at the major games, and the Singapore Marathon is a standalone event. Yeah, you're not representing your country or whatever. So athletes often have to make a choice and a decision between one or the other. Or if you want to do both, you kind of have to be realistic and manage your expectations, because if you're going to do a very long race before your key race, it can sap some of your resources away, and then you might not recover in time, whatever. So I honestly, if you were peaking for one particular race, maybe doing the marathon the week before, especially if you're not sure if you can handle the kind of load. I mean, it's like the football. Like if you go and play Champions League on Wednesday, then you play Manchester United on Saturday. That's why there's like squad rotation and everything, right? Sorry, man. In this individual sport, there's no squad rotation. You just manage your resources accordingly. So when the news came out that I wasn't selected, which is no big surprise because this is what they've done every single year anyway. Singapore Marathon was also recruiting me to do their race. So I'll say, you all don't want me, another event wants me, I'm going to do the other event. I'll appeal, but I don't know how long that's going to take to resolve itself.
But so you weren't surprised that you were not part of the contingent?
No, every SEA Games since 2019, they reject what?
Oh, okay.
I continue to be surprised that this is still a thing, but I'm not surprised that they actually do it, because it's a pattern of behavior, you see. If you walk next to a dodgy-looking guy and you get stabbed, and then you come back next year, you walk next to a dodgy-looking guy and you get stabbed. By the time the third time he stabs you, you shouldn't be surprised anymore, right?
It still hurts, so you're not surprised.
Exactly. I think that's a fair way to say it.
But are you saying that the double up challenge did have a material impact on your performance in the SEA Games?
I think that, so I committed to the double up challenge, and I said, okay, I'm going to use this as my main race of the year. Like whether or not SEA Games happens.
Okay.
That's a separate issue altogether.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I think it was maybe 3 weeks or 1 month later or 5 weeks later, around 1 month later, the appeal went through and they confirmed that. But at that point, I had already signed a contract with Singapore Marathon. Like I'm going to do the event, they compensate you how much, whatever. And the press was already out. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, I already committed to this, so I'm not gonna like back out from that. I'll just plan my season such that if I can get fit enough to do the double up challenge and hopefully win both without exerting myself to 100%, then you can take it as a long, hard workout and still recover in time for the SEA Games. And even my 10K was on the last day. I chose not to do the marathon because of that reason, primarily. Like I wasn't going to do 2 marathons in 2 weeks, but also I wanted to let one of the younger guys have a chance to do the marathon.
But if you knew sooner, the marathon might be an option at the SEA Games.
Then it's a different conversation. Then it's like, okay, what are our goals for the year, and what do we actually focus on and do?
But in between, there was also the medical screening.
The medical screening was very late. That one was like 1 week before the SEA Games.
But it's another big spanner in the works of your
prep, because you don't know whether you're going to go.
But I mean, even before that, you then found out that you were going.
Yeah.
So was that a surprise?
Sorry.
You were rejected first.
Yeah.
And then you found out you actually were going. Was that a surprise?
Was that a surprise? I wasn't expecting really one way or the other, because when I was rejected, there was also no reason given for the rejection.
Yeah.
Like I think they were quite opaque about why. So when we basically we had to jump through some hoops basically to get me back on the team, including like stuff. I actually I cannot disclose what I had to do to get on the team, but I had to make certain assurances that I will behave in a certain way and sign certain letters promising as such to be on the team. Let's just say that sums up what I had to do.
I mean, it's like signing any agreement.
Yeah, exactly. So no big deal, whatever.
Sure.
So I felt that the momentum wasn't against me in terms of like, if I appealed, I would get. In fact, one of the prominent ministers did message me on the initial non-selection. I won't name him. Don't want to like get him in on the spotlight, whatever. But a prominent minister did message me. Saw the news. Are you going to appeal? I said, hi, thanks for checking in. Yeah, we probably will. She said, you should appeal. And I'm like, okay, sir. I will appeal. So I could tell that the decision was a bit. I don't think it was necessary. The thing is that when this happens, everyone looks bad, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily positive news for myself, even though I try and like use it for content and to spin a negative into positive anyway. I think for the most part I've succeeded. It doesn't look good on the organization because they get lashed out at, but it also doesn't look good on third parties like 𝘬𝗶𝘂𝗿𝗏 or the Minister for Sports. For nothing they kena. Right? And then they got nothing to do with this decision anyway. Sports Singapore kena, and Singapore Athletics kena, even though they're not part of the decision anyway.
So then you found out you were going through, and then you had to tweak your plan, your training plan.
I didn't tweak my plan. I was just like, I'm still gonna get ready for the double up challenge, and I'm gonna use that momentum to carry myself over into SEA Games.
Okay. I see.
And I can tell you, I don't think there will be a single coach in the world that will recommend that plan. Because I ended up racing a 10,000 meters in Japan, where I set a national record at the end of November. Flying back to Singapore, doing the half marathon on a Saturday, doing the marathon on a Sunday,
winning both,
the national champs, and then I had 9.5 days between the time I crossed the marathon, finish line, and the SEA Games 10,000 meter final.
And you had to fly. And
then you fly to Bangkok. So like the first day of. You get into the village, everyone is like prancing around in top shape, right? I was using two hands to hold the staircase railing as I went down the stairs.
Really?
My legs were so sore.
Oh, shit.
But you see, it's all a factor of mindset. So I believe that if I can absorb this huge running load that I just went through, my aerobic system will be very, very strong and ready to handle the 10,000. I just need to
recover the muscles and all.
But speaking of that, in those 9 days as well, there was that scare, right? Medical screening and all. That which almost prevented you from going to the games, right?
Yeah, but when that happened, I did see. When the doctor, I think the doctor, in my opinion, was a bit 𝘂𝗂𝗍, but that's their job to look out for.
Of course.
To look out for potential problems, right? So the doctor said, I got bad news. I don't think you're going to be able to go for this SEA Games. I was like, then I said, that's fine. Then I think he looked up because I think he expected a different response. He was like, Then I was like, doctor, if I cannot go, it's fine. I got a lot of other races to do anyway. I just need you to write the reasons why I won't be going so that people know that it's not me that it's not wanting to go. It's a medical thing. So I said, it's out of my power. I got other things to do. So doing the double up challenge was good because it allowed me to stay engaged and focused on something else while they sorted out the whole
hard thing. Also, the hard thing came before the double up challenge.
Right before.
It was 2 days before the double up challenge. So 2 days before, they told me that they rushed me in for emergency, and usually it takes longer than this. But I went to a private clinic 1 day before the double up challenge. So 1 day before, when you're supposed to be resting, I was running on a treadmill at incline to get my heart rate above a certain level so they could monitor how my heart behaved at a certain intensity.
Oh, shit. So
and it still didn't get to that level. I told doctor, I don't know what kind of patients you usually deal with, but you're asking for 85% heart rate. I can tell you, I have to run half marathon race pace to get to that heart rate. You're not going to see that today because I'm racing tomorrow. I'm sorry. And then he was like, okay, we try. Then he went to zheng the incline to like make my heart rate higher. So I'm just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Like the day before, I'm supposed to start my double up challenge. So that was my lead up to
the double up challenge.
Not ideal.